taught us over and over again that it is impossible to comprehend, appreciate, assimilate, or cognize something we have no knowledge of. When the white man first touched the shores of Africa, they saw the African doing things that the white man classified as primitive, uncivilized, barbarous, and savage. However, time has not only vindicated the African in most of the erroneous ideas the white man had about most of these practices, but over the years, it is being discovered that the white man's erroneous idea of thinking the African was a primitive being was because they did not understand nor comprehend these practices. For example, the white man, upon seeing the African brushing his teeth with charcoal and chewing stick, concluded that the African is a backward being, incapable of development. The white man therefore invented toothpaste. Decades after its invention, it has been found that fluoride, an active agent in toothpaste, is causing more harm than good. Upon research, however, not only did they realize that charcoal is beneficial to the human body in several ways, they also found out that charcoal is actually a whitening agent that helps whiten teeth. Ironically, one of the most expensive toothpaste today are made of charcoal. This is just but one example that points out one thing. It is absolutely impossible to appreciate and understand something we have no knowledge of. Today, everybody is eager to get into a relationship or get married, but not a single one of us have taken the time to ask the most important question, and that is, who is a man or a woman? In trying to purchase a product, we go through the painful process of trying to know what the product is, what it does, its flaws, etc. Our ability to know about this product is what determines how well we either appreciate or condemn the product. Erroneously, there are a few feminists today who are trying everything possible to say men and women are the same. I am in no way against the fight for women's rights. However, in trying to do that, we should be careful not to cause chaos. What I am fighting for is equality for women. In as much as I believe in equality, we should not confuse that with the genders being the same. For example, every single one of you watching me right now is equally qualified to host this show. But the truth is, the way you present it will not and can never be the same as I do. The truth, however, is this. It doesn't take scientific data for anyone to realize that though men and women have a lot of similarities, we are not the same. All it takes for one to realize this is common sense. For example, there's a reason why a car manufacturer, though the same model, names them LE, SE, XLE, and XSE. Though the same brand and model, differences in name alone tells you they are not the same. Using common sense, we can all attest to the fact that men and women are different when it comes to a lot of things. Main differences include, but not limited to, biological, psychological, emotional, sociological, and etc. What we ought to understand is that a man's definition, understanding, and perception of things is different from that of a woman and vice versa. While getting into a relationship, if one fails to comprehend the simple fact that the opposite sex's perception and definition of things are different from theirs, there is a tendency of misunderstandings occurring every day, not because there necessarily is a problem within the relationship or marriage, but the failure to understand that the opposite sex's definition of things is different from ours is the cause. As I said earlier, I want us to use common sense and avoid scientific data and researches. Now that I've mentioned it, let's come to think of it. What's the meaning of the word science? Well, the word science is derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. And the word scientific simply means something conducted in the manner of science or according to the result of investigation by science. I will not divert the topic, but the point I'm trying to make is this. Even using common sense needs knowledge, which is therefore per the definition of science. You can draw your own conclusion anyway. Now back to the main point. From a common sense point of view, we all have to acknowledge the fact that men and women don't communicate the same. For example, when a woman and a man are somewhere with a child and a snake appears from nowhere, the two of them will panic. But their reaction after panicking is what informs us that men and women do not communicate the same way. There is always a 90% probability that the woman will rush to rescue the child, while the same 90% probability holds for the fact that the man will rush to any available weapon in order to kill the snake. To the woman, her understanding is saving the child from the snake without realizing she's endangering herself by taking that step, because there's the possibility of the snake biting she and the child. To the man, however, his understanding is killing the snake will entirely eliminate the threat, hence his decision to look for a weapon. What the man also fails to analyze is the fact that there's the possibility that before he gets the weapon, whether stones or stick, the snake might have beaten the child. In this case, instead of the man being angry with the woman that her action could have gotten she and the child beaten by the snake, and the woman being angry that the man's action could have gotten the child beaten by the snake, by acknowledging and understanding the opposite sex, these unnecessary conflicts could be avoided. As I always say, don't expect to live in peace with something you have no knowledge of. If someone has been using a feature phone, which is locally known as Yam phone, and decided to switch to a smartphone without acknowledging and understanding that, though they are all phones, smartphone's processing power is different from that of a feature phone, the person will spend his or her entire smartphone life complaining about something which is not a problem at all, and that is the smartphone's battery. While you used to charge your feature phone, say, twice a week, you may be charging your smartphone twice a day. With these two phones, you will appreciate and live in harmony with your smartphone, because though you have to charge this phone 14 times a week, as against twice a week in terms of the feature phone, you know there's nothing wrong with your smartphone, because that's just how smartphones have been designed. However, if you are ignorant about smartphones, you will complain daily and may even regret that you bought a smartphone. Is it not strange enough that anytime you have a misunderstanding with your partner, if you are the lady, your girlfriend seems to understand you and side with you, and if you are the guy, your boys understand you and side with you. In times like this, we feel like our friends are supporting the other person. That's not the case at all. Being girls, they understand each other and vice versa. Using common sense, we've acknowledged the fact that men and women are not the same. If you fail to know and understand the opposite sex, you will spend your entire marriage life fighting over something which is not a problem. But you see it to be a problem because you don't know anything about the opposite sex. Let this be a mantra to you. Don't expect to live in harmony with something you have no knowledge of.